Welcome to the Pride of Symbols, a people driven by the passion for excellence and the courage to take on big challenges and see them through. With integrity of mind and systems, our words, structures, and processes are always dependable. We are proud of who we are, what we do, and what we stand for. Firm is our commitment to the vision to build a globally recognized distribution company and to become the key driver of trade revolution across Africa. We have been empowered to make products and services accessible, affordable, and usable across Africa by building an efficient distribution network, and to remain the market benchmark for dynamism, efficiency, and competitiveness. We are rulers. We provide order. With confidence, enthusiasm, and wit we speak. The vulnerable and voiceless we empower. This is me. This is TD Africa. We rule. We conquer. We are Simba.
You have a learning goal, and we have just one job to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Azure Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearsonville, and PSI, delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in respective industries. Azure Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define success as having the right resources to skill you up to help you meet your desired goals. Our job at Azure Academy is to empower you to be successful at every stage of the learning journey, from training to certification to establishing professional credibility. As a certified learning partner and authorized testing center, our facility has proven to be one of the best in the country as we get to reach the needs of all ages, young, middle-aged, and those in the advancing years, making learning simple and affordable. We care about your skill development, and without breaking the bank, we present you with great opportunities to showcase your competency and expertise in your area of specialty, aiding career advancement or personal goals tracking. Let's help you bridge that learning gap. All you have to do is take the next step to enroll in our courses today with prices that are easy on your wallets. Request access to our training calendar by emailing training@ashem.com, and you can also get the most of your learning investments by checking out our promotional offers here. offers.ashem.com/ms learning. you can call 0704 636 7151 or call 0704 576 9927. You can visit our head office at number 9 Ibikule Street off Abad Macaulay Way, Yaba, Lagos State.
ọmọ ọba ni kò ṣẹrú. ó wá sáyé ọmọ ọba ni kò ṣẹrú. ó wá sáyé kò ṣẹwọ́n.
ó yá akéde mo fẹ́ délé bàbá tó bí lọ́mọ.
ọmọ ọba ni kò ṣẹrú.
bàbá mi ò gbànígbà ní ojú ọ̀nà ó ṣe gbọ́n. òsán-gìrì lágìrì ọ̀làgìrì kàkà. àtọ́fọ́ arẹ́rẹ́ o. bàbá mi ò wọ kẹfẹ́rẹ́ jíjọ. jagunmọ́ lòdì ọ̀rọ̀ apálá ti jó tọ̀hún tọ̀hún.
These models, right? You've got text to speech, you've got, rather I should say, text to image with DALL-E, you've got coding, you've got language.
Your ChatGPT has completely changed the conversation about AI. I think those of us who have been on the inside of AI definitely have kind of thought about it as like, of course, it's changing the world and we see it every day. But I think ChatGPT made it real for millions of people by showing them what it can do and how powerful it is, and their imaginations are now freed.
How can this be really useful towards someone who may have, say, limited mobility? One of my colleagues, Christina, her arms are paralyzed and she types with her toes. And watching her use this product is really cool because she said, oh, I now just have to type one sentence rather than typing lots of sentences to plan a trip, for example.
You know, how do we set the right mental model for a technology like this? You know, it's super impressive. It can create, it can cite information. And so we found that people tend to over-trust or over-rely the kind of information it generates. And so a lot of what our team did was like, how do you set the right mental model for users? Reminding them, hey, you know, this is from the internet, just as reliable as the internet. Some things are factual, some things are not.
Welcome to the Pride of Symbols, a people driven by the passion for excellence and the courage to take on big challenges and see them through. With integrity of mind and systems, our words, structures, and processes are always dependable. We are proud of who we are, what we do, and what we stand for. Firm is our commitment to the vision to build a globally recognized distribution company and to become the key driver of trade revolution across Africa. We have been empowered to make products and services accessible, affordable, and usable across Africa by building an efficient distribution network. and to remain the market benchmark for dynamism, efficiency, and competitiveness. We are rulers. We provide order. With confidence, enthusiasm, and wit we speak. The vulnerable and voiceless we empower. This is me. This is TD Africa. We rule. We conquer. We are Simba.
You have a learning goal, and we have just one job to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Azure Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearson VUE, and PSI, delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in respective industries. Azure Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define success as having the right resources to skill you up to help you meet your desired goals. Our job at Azure Academy is to empower you to be successful at every stage of the learning journey, from training to certification to establishing professional credibility. As a certified learning partner and authorized testing center, our facility has proven to be one of the best in the country as we get to reach the needs of all ages, young, middle-aged, and those in the advancing years, making learning simple and affordable. We care about your skill development, and without breaking the bank, we present you with great opportunities to showcase your competency and expertise in your area of specialty, aiding career advancement or personal goals tracking. Let's help you bridge that learning gap. All you have to do is take the next step to enroll in our courses today with prices that are easy on your wallets. Request access to our training calendar by emailing training@ashem.com, and you can also get the most of your learning investments by checking out our promotional offers here. offers.ashem.com/ms learning. You can call 0704 636 7151 or call 0704 576 9927. You can visit our head office at number 9 Ibikule Street.
Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're calling in from. You are welcome to the episode of Global AI Bootcamp. And this is Nigerian version. And we are televising from two locations. We are from Lagos online, and we have the Abuja studio where we are going to have live broadcasts of people running this program. Welcome once again. My name is Oluwaseyoluwa Umiju. I'm an MVP and also one of the organizers of Global AI Bootcamp. We are going to check in now to Abuja studio. Are we ready, Tabitha? Hello, Tabitha. Can you hear me? Hello, Tabitha. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me over there?
Yeah, we can hear you, Tabitha, but we are not seeing your face. Let's see your face. Let's see your face.
Okay.
That's it. You're welcome, Tabitha. So,
Thank you,
how
sir.
is Abuja? How is the temperature in the hall there? Are we ready for the boot camp?
Yes, we are. We are all set. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, evening, wherever you're joining. We are live here in Abuja, Fulcrum iLab, and we are happy to have you join us online and physically here. We have a lot of exciting things to learn today. I'm sure by the time we'll be done with today, you will learn a lot. So
Tabi- Tabitha,
let's
before you, let me just introduce those that are with me in studio. I have another MVP, Deji Folarin. Can we see your face? How are you this morning? How's Lagos?
Lagos is doing great. How are
I'm
you,
fine.
Sheyi? Tabitha, how are you doing in Abuja?
I'm
So
fine, sir.
I'm happy, excited
Yeah,
to be here today. So
Yeah.
let's get the show up and running. My name is Ayodeji Folani, a Microsoft most valuable professional on data platform and also a certified trainer. So we are all welcome to the Global AI Bootcamp happening live and direct in Lagos and Abuja. Thank you.
thank you, Deji. I also have an interesting guy here. Very interesting. He's talk very softly, but he's a software engineer and AI expert. I call Osinachi. How are you, Osinachi? How are you doing?
Hi everyone. I'm doing
Yeah.
great.
Are you
I'm doing
excited for
great.
the global bootcamp?
I'm doing great.
Are
I'm
you
tuning
excited
in.
this morning for the global bootcamp?
I am actually. We're going to be exploring lots of things in AI, so
Oh,
I'm actually
thank you.
excited.
So back to you, Tabitha. What do we have there in Abuja?
Okay, we are here. We are here with our speakers. We are here with Okay, let me introduce. Then before I call the CEO of Fulcrum iLab that made it possible for us to be here, we have speakers. We have Collins Ajayan in the house. We have Ephraim Luca. We have David Gambo, and we also have participants already here, well seated with their laptops, ready to kick off for the day. And also, we also have our CEO, that's the founder of Fulcrum iLab here in Abuja, and I'll be calling him shortly to say a word to us. So sir, please, can we have you here? Thank you. Let's invite you guys.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good to be here today and good to see both young and old. And it's also exciting to have our facilitators joining us all the way from Lagos. And where else is the second person? I think both of them are from Lagos, isn't it?
We're all in Lagos,
Yeah,
sir.
exactly. You great to have you join us here and great to I mean, it's going to be an exciting day. Looking forward to learning a lot and expanding our horizons. And I'm sure that at the end of the day, this would also help to build this community and strengthen it. We live in a world that is being redefined, I think, every other 2 months or so, maybe even less. I think every 30 days, something new seems to be taking place. One of the amazing things about our times, and especially with this topic, is that we're beginning to see a rapid development in the sense of machines taking over human processes. One of those apps that is beginning to revolutionize our time is ChatGPT. I've tried my hands on it a couple of times. I've tried the artistic version of it as well. Basically, you give it a message or type something and it does a painting for you. I've tried it out And I'm amazed at what is going on in our world today, but not just even amazed at what's happening right now, but I'm thinking in the next 2 years where we're going to be, in the next 5 years where we're going to be. Where we're going to be is not defined, as far as I'm concerned, by what other people are doing. I think that where we will be is defined by where you can see and how far you that are seated here and those who probably may be joining us through live stream can also be. Meaning that there is no limit to any individual or to the progress of a community or society except the limitations of the mind. The mind, we hear, is a terrible thing to waste. How far you can see is how far you can go. And the human mind has been so um, created in such a way that there just are no boundaries. I remember I shared this story once, and I had to, my first visit to Houston, I went to the Space Mission Control Center, and there you see the module of the first um, rocket, so to speak, device that went to the moon. And if I remember well, the entire computer processing capability, if I remember, must have been something like 16 megabytes. Just that. And it was, I mean, huge, massive processing capability. Now, 16 MB, if somebody gives you a flash drive with 16 MB, you're just going to throw it in the bin. But you can imagine that what took man to the moon was really minute in terms of, capacity. But here was my thought. How did man decide that he could get to the moon? How did that happen? And I tried to play my mind. Maybe somebody sat down and looked at the moon and kept looking and just thought we can get there. And of course, technology began to develop and all kinds of rockets were being made until it became a reality. Where did it start in the mind? But today, machines are wanting to take over the mind. But then again, there is limited capacity to the degree to which the human can think and to which the human can project into the future. So we're in an artificial intelligence world ruled by AI. And part of the purpose of this meeting today is for us to enlarge and broaden our own horizons so that we will define the future. And when I say we define the future, I'm not talking about world. I'm talking about we as Africans, we as Nigerians, young, old, there are no limits, there are no barriers. So the future is here already. And I hope that what we'll learn today will make a world of difference into stimulating us to moving forward and developing our capacities beyond human limitation. Thank you. And thank you, Tabitha, also, and all the other facilitators. Thank you.
Well, that was a cool one, and that's the CEO founder of the lab that you're seeing there, a visionary, someone that wants to change the landscape of IT, especially from the Abuja ecosystem. And he mentioned, Deji, he mentioned several things. He mentioned one, that we're seeing a change in terms of the way we see technology in the next few years. He mentioned that until you increase your horizon by your mind, by yourself, you might not be able to expand in this year or this ecosystem that is being up with AI. So what other thing do you see before we bring on Tabitha about what the CEO said?
Well, in fact, he has actually mentioned it all. Where we are today, tomorrow, definitely, we are going to experience lots and lots of changes in our environment. The way we do things in those days is not the way we do it nowadays. Let us just imagine this big data thing we're talking about. Gone are those days, you can put things in your refrigerator and they expire, that's all. But now, you put a milk in your refrigerator, that same refrigerator can send you an SMS that in 2 weeks' time, the item you have in the refrigerator is going to expire. So imagine a world where device is now communicating with us, not just having, what's it called, communicating with humans. Imagine a world where you can easily send a message, broadcast a message, do lot and lot of things. He made mention of the ChatGPT that we are seeing nowadays. Just imagine you just send a message to a system, a bot somewhere. I'm trying to build my CV. Can you help me out? I'm trying to design something. Like, can you help me out? I'm trying to solve a problem. Can you help me out? And from nowhere, you are getting solution to your problem. So it's actually, we are in the era, we are in the age of having solution at our fingertips. But all what we need is that knowledge. And we have the opportunity here to still learn more about AI. The world is moving and we are ready to go with it.
Thank you. That was a good angle to it. Osinachi, now looking at what AI can do, and sorry, I don't like seeing politics in public sphere, but you can see I just concluded election, and the issue they have was being able to capture data from the device to the online storage, and it took a lot of time. But if we have AI imbued into the system, don't you think it can help to expand that that scope and ensure that we have real-time data? What do you feel? Because I know you are going to take a topic on that. Yeah.
Okay, so from the just concluded general elections, we saw that the way they were sending the data digitally, they were literally just taking pictures of the
Yeah.
results from the polling units. But that was just a picture, and computers don't work well with pictures. But with AI, computers can now understand pictures. A picture is literally just a bunch of binary data that computers cannot understand. But when we use AI on pictures, we'll be able to extract data from it, be able to extract insights from it. So yeah, we can actually extract maybe the results from each party's count, voting count, and aggregate it across the country. That would have been an easy way or an easier way for us to conduct the elections. But they didn't do that. They did manual collation at the collation center. So AI can actually improve our processes in this country.
Thank you, Sinashi. Tabitha, how is the temperature? We are going to join the Microsoft. We're going to. Is a recorded. Actually, it's recorded. It's not live. Microsoft is going to come up with their keynotes in the next few minutes. But what are you seeing there? Are people ready for the workshop?
Yeah, people are ready. Everybody's ready. And like you just heard from CEO of Fulcrum, like she's always ready. Like most times when I get talking about tech, I'm always excited because sometimes you feel like as a young person you should be always be ahead of him, but he's always trying to like, okay, let him get to the nail, let him make sure like he always get to do his research and then not just from this particular just not from this event, even from our last event that we had when he came to talk, when he came to give his keynote, I was really impressed. And then bringing like the application and everything, he has even gone ahead. So this, we need to know that, okay, we are in the world right now that we don't have to wait till anybody even come and say, okay, this is what they are trying to tell us. We have to go about doing research, trying to understand what's the trend and what's going on. And just like the chat GPT, the other day I was called to send the letter, like a formal letter, like they just give me 15 minutes. I said, why don't I go to chat GPT? I was just like, this is it. And it printed out the whole letter. I now sent it. They said, that's perfect. I said, okay, that's another approach. So,
but David, I don't think we are going to get pretty very lazy now with this kind of injection coming into the system. What do you feel? Anybody, Digi or Sinachi?
Yeah, we are not getting lazy, but we are achieving more with the little time. I don't know how many of you think the way I think. It's like 12 hours is like too small for us, but we can actually achieve more. If I can get this done in less than 10 minutes, I can get myself busy with other creative things. So it's actually helping us to achieve more, not getting me lazy.
That's,
In my own opinion,
that's really fine. We are not getting lazy. We are just achieving more. And
Yeah. I have something to add to
finally,
that.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So eventually, humanity is going to reach a point where most of the things we do are automated, right? So at that point, we will not be working again. We will not be. There won't be need to work anymore because AI and robots would plant our food and everything. So at that point, all we can do is just being creative and maybe paint our pictures or just live life in a very calm way and not go through the struggles of life.
Okay, that's cool. But before we go into the keynote from Microsoft, can we hear from the audience? Are we sure, there is this thing that AI is taking over our job? Is it possible? Let's hear from the audience. Why are they in this workshop? What their expectation?
All right, so let me just move around. I
Okay.
think let me move around. Let me move around to she's the first person here. So let me move around. So what's your expectation? You want to say something? What's the expectation? Okay, maybe while you're still trying to process. Let me give grandma.
Well, I can, what I'm expecting is how I can see my writings and also other things that I do. I do a lot of writing and also PowerPoint presentation being made easy for me.
Okay, that's a nice one. So let's see. Let me move around. Okay, it's like they're trying to hide their faces. Hello. Just what's the expectation? What do you hope to achieve at the end of the day?
I don't know a lot about AI, so I just came here to learn and to gain as much knowledge as possible about it.
Okay. She don't know much about AI, and today she's hoping to learn more about it. So,
Okay. One of my expectation is number one, how to be ready for the revolution that is coming, because it's a revolution that is coming into the IT world. AI is a process, or AI is a destination, so to say, and how we'll be ready for the transmission into that destination or the transition to that destination. That's one. And then how I could also apply it to my day-to-day life, like we said, to make things easier and faster, not becoming lazy, but making things easier and faster for me. Yes.
Okay.
okay. This is what we got from our audience here. All of them are like excited. They want to learn something new. They want to know how to do a lot with less. So just like Microsoft team from Microsoft Ignite last year ending was doing more with less. So I think with what we are doing today, it will really help us to achieve more with like just like Mr. Shea said, like using very few minutes to know okay, you can do this. Just imagine now I have to send like 3 formal letters to 3 different organizations. With ChatGPT, within 5 minutes I can get that done. So the rest of the time I can use it to do other productive things. So these words we could have. Mr. Shea, are we ready for the keynote?
Yeah, we are ready. I'll just get on it now.
Okay. So we have keynotes from Microsoft about this. Actually, the Global AI Bootcamp is not just in Abuja, it's globally in it's actually happening globally in the world today. So we now are actually hosting the one here in Abuja. So Microsoft will be giving their keynote. So let's listen to them.
Please, can you hear? Is the audio coming out?
Not yet.
Oh, sorry. Sorry for that. Let me just stop sharing and let me know whether the audio is coming out.
Okay, sir.
Rather, I should say, text to image with DALL-E. You've got coding, you've got language. ChatGPT has completely changed the conversation about AI. I think those of us who have been on the inside of AI definitely have kind of thought about it as, of course, it's changing the world and we see it every day. But I think ChatGPT made it real for millions of people by showing them what it can do and how powerful it is, and their imaginations are.
How can this be really useful towards someone who may have, say, limited mobility? One of my colleagues, Christina, her arms are paralyzed and she types with her toes. And watching her use this product was really cool. She said, oh, I now just have to type one sentence rather than typing lots of sentences to plan a trip, for example.
You know, how do we set the right mental model for a technology like this? You know, it's super impressive. It can create, it can cite information, and so we found that people tend to over-trust or over-rely the kind of information it can generate. And so a lot of what our team did was like, how do we set the right mental model for users and remind them, hey, you know, this is from the internet, just as reliable as the internet, but for actual something going on.
So hi everyone, welcome to the Global AI Bootcamp 2023. We welcome you as one of the attendees of our yearly global event with more than 70 locations around the world. So do you know that this is already the 5th event in a row? Yes. Okay. It's a 5th anniversary.
Wow, it's crazy. That really flies.
Yeah. We started in 2019 together with the Global HR community. So then in 2019 it really exploded with lots of locations around the globe. Then we had a couple of years which were virtual and some were hybrid.
Shay, the video is not audible. I think we may need to pause it and then play it later. The audio is not the best at all.
Are right now together with you and the group, and that's the local organizers. They've been working hard to find a venue, to find speakers.
So I still think that in the meantime, conversations can still go on. It will still be played in a way that everybody can appreciate it. But for now, we're having a bit of connection issues. So let's try and reach out to them and get their attention so that we can either start with another presentation at this end.
Okay. So what we do is that maybe we'll once the one or two speakers have done their speech, we can just come back and play. Meanwhile, I'll just play the teaser to confirm that we did this in Nigeria, and I know this one should work.
These models, right? You've got text to speech, you've got, rather, I should say, text to image with DALL-E, you've got coding, you've got language.
ChatGPT has completely changed the conversation about AI. I think those of us who have been on the inside of AI definitely have kind of thought about it as like, of course, it's changing the world and we see it every day. But I think ChatGPT made it real for millions of people by showing them what it can do and how powerful it is, and their imaginations are now freed.
How can this be really useful towards someone who may have, say, limited mobility? One of my colleagues, Christina, her arms are paralyzed and she types with her toes. And watching her use this product is really cool because she said, oh, I now just have to type one sentence rather than typing lots of sentences to plan a trip, for example.
You know, how do we set the right mental model for a technology like this? You know, it's super impressive. It can create, it can cite information. And so we found that people tend to over-trust or over-rely the kind of information it generates. And so a lot of what our team did was like, how do you set the right mental model for users? Reminding them, hey, this is from the internet, just as reliable as the internet. Some things are factual, some things are not.
Okay, so that's just the teaser. We'll play the full video once the internet and the connection is fine. So Tabitha, who is coming? Who is coming? Who is the next speaker from your end? You can take over from here.
So our first speaker from here is David. Our first speaker from here is David Gambo, who will be taking us through introduction to AI and also the application. So David Gambo, stage.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Sabita. Thank you, CEO Fulcrum iLab, for the opportunity. I'm here to do an intro into Microsoft Azure and AI. Okay, so in the first slide, my humble self. Well, I do a bit of stuff. Result-driven IT solutions engineer. An AV and network engineer. I do front-end development, and I'm also into AI and Azure, Microsoft Azure. For the introduction, as the CEO said earlier, AI has become one of the technology-driven platform that is available at the moment, and it's growing very fast. And I'm most excited. Don't worry, my face is always like this. I'm happy. So I'm excited to be part of this revolution, and I'm kicking in and looking for opportunities to move fully into cloud computing. That is, first of all, joining the Microsoft Azure ecosystem and also AI. So artificial intelligence has been around for decades, but in recent years, it has seen significant advancement and has become more accessible to businesses of all sizes. If you check, you would see that most companies are using AI. See, for example, we have Facebook. So if you do a Google search and maybe you're looking for a shoe on Konga, for example, and when you go back to your Facebook, you realize that there is, Konga adverts on your Facebook, and it's popping up and it's popping up. So there's an algorithm that helps to learn or to check what you are searching for, what you are interested in, and then it gives you that thing. And you see that if you flip into another app, you will see that same advert or something similar. So that is the power of AI. So what is AI? If I may ask, because I would like us to be, I would like this section to be interactive. So what do you say AI is? What do you think AI is? Benjamin, do you want to answer? What do you think AI is?
AI to me is when is when a computer thinks or emulates like a human being, when it's able to create its own thoughts and solution itself without or with little human supervision.
Great. Does anybody wants to try? For me, first time I had AI, I used to like see in Hollywood movies and some other movies. I will see Iron Man, I will see iRobot. That's what I thought AI was all about. Um, until I began to make research and went through school, and then I realized that AI is actually more than that. So, like Benjamin said, it's basically the computer, but it needs the human attention at first. It needs you to give it data. AI needs a lot of data in order for it to process. Okay? So AI, first of all, collects your data, it identifies patterns, and it makes predictions, and also it recommends things for you. Like the example I cited earlier, based on your search, it will bring an advert and recommend that shoe that you were searching for from your search engine. So, what are some of the AI terms that are out there right now? We have natural language processing, we have speech recognition, we have machine learning, we have computer vision, we have robotics, and we have reinforced learning. Um, we have a lot of systems that actually function based on the terms I just mentioned. There are some doors right now that just requires your facial recognition. So you walk to the door and then it sees your face and it opens, or it uses your fingerprint, or it uses your voice. You just tell it to open and it opens because it recognizes your voice. Okay. Robotics, we are seeing how we have drones right now and robots that can behave like humans, that can do things, that can carry out tasks, that can even clean your house and all of that. Like one of the examples, Spotify. If you use Spotify, you realize that Spotify creates playlist for you based on what you are listening. So it's not that one human being sits somewhere and says, "Oh, okay, so Tonya is listening to reggae, so let me just put some reggae playlist for her." No, there's an AI that learns what you are listening to. It sees it, and then it will now go and create similar playlist. It will bring in your artist, your reggae artist, and create playlist for you based on what you are listening. You can also see that with YouTube as well. So if you have been watching anime on YouTube, next time you log into YouTube, you will see some of the suggestions that are there will be anime. Most of them will be anime, except for maybe news. And if you are somebody that watches news or reads news a lot, or look at all of those videos from some of the news platforms like channels, you will also see that as well. You see them suggested on your YouTube channel as well. We have Google Maps. So in Google Maps right now, there is a feature that allows you to use your camera to search for a particular object. I don't know if you guys have noticed it from your phone. There's the camera search. So if you click on it and maybe place it on an object, it searches for that particular object for you from the web. It brings in a bunch of URLs that are connected to that particular object that you have seen. If you've not checked it before, it's time for you to try something new. Okay, Netflix as well. I mentioned Facebook. So moving further to Azure Cloud. For me, Azure Cloud is most interesting There are other cloud platforms like the AWS. They are good as well, but the most interesting one for me is Azure Cloud, and they are doing such a great job with Azure Cloud. They are providing a lot of services for businesses. So Azure Cloud is actually an open and flexible platform that enables you to build, deploy, and manage your applications. So you can actually go onto the Azure platform and build your application and deploy it and also manage it from the Azure cloud platform. So it also enables you to integrate whatever you have. So let's say you're a company who is dealing with maybe offline things, manual documents, and you want to fully move online, you can easily integrate Azure Cloud with that. So some of the features that they offer: analytics, virtual computing, they offer storage, they offer networking, and lots more. They are fast, they are flexible, and they are affordable. One of the things that Azure Cloud provide is the affordability feature, which enables you to use uh, your you are being charged based on what you use. So if you don't use much, you will not be required to pay much. So that is one of the interesting parts of Azure Cloud. So let's look at some of the examples of using Azure Cloud. Like I said, it's cost effective. So it offers pay as you go pricing model that allows businesses to pay only for resources they use. That's the first point. They provide strong security. So you are sure that uh, hackers are not going to go into your platform and steal your credit card details when you use Azure Cloud, because they have layers and layers of security. So there will not be security breaches in the system. And of course, they offer scalability. There is also easy integration, like I mentioned earlier. So in conclusion, so that I don't keep talking, so that we have much time to do the practicals, Azure Cloud provides businesses with tools they need to implement AI application that can improve their operations and customer experience. So businesses can easily implement AI on Azure Cloud and gain competitive advantage in their industry. At the end of this workshop, we should be able to see the power of AI, the power of Azure Cloud, the power of technology, and how technology is growing exponentially. And I would urge us that we keep the pace, we keep moving with the way technology is going so that we are not left behind. So after this workshop today, there's going to be a Telegram group that we can all join in, so that every month we have a project that we work on, that we are working on, so that we are not left behind, so that by the time we apply one of the technologies today, maybe next month we'll practice another technology again, another solution again, as regards Microsoft Azure. That said, I will invite one of my colleagues to come and demonstrate and also give us a wider overview of AI applications. Please welcome Ephraim Luka.
Thank you very much, David. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, guys from Lagos, Sheyi, and the other people from Microsoft. Thank you very much all for the opportunity to share this with you all. It's my pleasure. All right, so very quickly, I'll be talking about some applications of AI, and I'm focusing on ChatGPT, which is one of the things that have already been mentioned here a couple of times. All right, so without any further delay, let's go right into it. So, ChatGPT is a large language model developed by OpenAI. that can understand and generate human-like text based on its training data. It is often used for applications such as chatbot, content creation, language translation, and personalization. All right, so one of the applications is conversational AI. ChatGPT can be used to create chatbots that can understand natural language input from users and respond in a conversational manner. For example, a health chatbot powered by ChatGPT could provide a safe and confidential space for people to talk about their feelings and seek support. There's a reason why it sounds very formal, but I'll let you guys know at the end. So let's move on. Content creation. This is also one of the use cases for ChatGPT. So if you're a YouTuber here or you're a blogger, this is gold mine for you. So content creation. ChatGPT can be used to generate high quality content in a variety of formats such as blog posts, news articles, and product descriptions. For example, a travel company could use ChatGPT to generate descriptions of different destinations based on user input. All right, another use case is language translation. And for those of you that are into programming, I guess at the end of this, we're going to do a little demo. So ChatGPT can also be used for language translation as it has the ability to understand and generate text in multiple languages. For example, a global e-commerce company could use ChatGPT to automatically translate product descriptions and customer reviews to different languages. So even if you don't understand China, you can sell to Chinese. You don't understand Mandarin, Mandarin, yeah. So if you don't understand Mandarin, you can sell to Chinese, no barrier. So you don't have to focus on only those of us in Abuja. You have a global stage. Another use case is ChatGPT can be used to personalize user experiences based on their preferences and behavior. For example, an e-commerce company can use ChatGPT to recommend products to users based on their past purchases and browsing history. For example, David was talking about some other platforms that will look at your history. Okay, you Google this here today, you Google that on the other website today. Okay, so they know what you've been looking for to buy is a Mercedes, so they can recommend this brand of car for you. For example, if it is a car dealership and they see you googling Mercedes on different websites, they know this guy is looking for a Mercedes Benz, so they won't come to you with a Toyota, even if they have Toyota for sale. They will approach you with a Mercedes because they know that's what you've been looking for. All right, so everything I just read for you, I didn't write. I generated it from ChatGPT. I didn't write anything that I just read from for you guys, and it's just 4 lines of text. That was the reason why I was sounding that formal. I'm not that formal naturally, so so that was the reason I was sounding that serious. But that's it. So, and if you can share my screen, all right. So that's the description of all I wrote. I said explain the points. Okay, application of Chat GPT. Explain the points. Sound exciting. Make it explanatory. The next line, maximum of 4 points, including examples of application. The next line, sound more like a teacher. That's all I did. And I copied and pasted. And I came here and sounded like one of the people developing ChatGPT, you know. So that's it. That's the power that you have at the tips of your finger. You can simply sit down with your computer, do a research on even topics that you really don't understand. And yes, you can say, okay, you might need to go back and cross-check certain things and check to ensure, but you can see the accuracy of what we just delivered of the entire description. And I can show you a live demo of this because I don't want it sounding like it's just talk. So let me see if I can do a short demo. Just give me a second. Let me open ChatGPT and I hope I'll be able to do a short demo for everyone to see.
so that it won't just be talk. Let's all know that actually this is real. And you can go to the website as well and try some of these things. So you can really apply this. One of the areas that I'm really excited to see this being applied in is home automation and also audiovisual technologies. I want to see when we don't necessarily need sound engineers anymore and we can have things working. Technology is just smart enough at the background working. All right, so let me say I want to write a code in Python. And trust me, guys, I'm not a programmer. I'm not. Okay? But I want to try writing a code in Python using ChatGPT right now. All right. So write a Python code to write number 1 to let's say 74. All right. There's something to stand out. Sure. And that's it. So I have my code. Now let's test it and see if it's working. So I'm just using PyCharm to test it. And here is our result. It's printed. So this is the result of what we wrote. For those of you that understand programming or have some knowledge of programming or Python and all that, you could see that what I just wrote is a very, very basic Python program. And I asked it to write using just these few lines that are here. I ask it to write number 1 all the way to 74. And here is our result down here because I ran this to generate the result. And that's it. No errors at all. And you can write more complex programs like this, and you have an understanding of coding. You don't even have to code everything. You can decide to say, okay, code this section for me. It codes. You can copy and paste, cross-check, code another thing. So it really, really makes your work very, very easy. It opens up a lot of possibilities, and there are several other things that you can do. And even this even the presentation I did could have been much longer than this. This is not all that ChatGPT is going to show you if you Google this. Is simply if you search on ChatGPT. The only reason why this was all we saw was because I said you should reduce it to only four results, only 4 points, and that's why it streamlined it to only 4 points. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much. And I hope that I have shown you guys some possibilities that are available with ChatGPT, those of you writing letters and all that. Thank you very much. Sure.
Like, that's, I don't know, like, it's just they've said a lot. They've said a lot from David, from Mr. Ephraim. They've said a lot. I'm just looking at how, like how AI is just making things like very easy for us, like very, very easy for us. Like most times with ChatGPT, most times when people get to do coding, I know how like they will say, okay, they spend night, they don't get to sleep and everything. But Code and Learn know that all they need to do is just to go to ChatGPT and that's all. So, and that's the interesting thing about technology because it just keeps getting better. And just when you just feel like, these people have just killed it, then another person brings another set. I know lately there's been this whole thing about, okay, is it replacing Google and others? There's been a lot, even though all of them, they have all their strengths. But at the same time, when you know that, okay, when you just want something direct, you just go to ChatGPT. Thank you, Ephraim, Luca. Thank you, David. We'll be having the next person that will be coming up. We'll be having Mr. Deji for Larry. He's a Microsoft Most Valued Professional and also a Microsoft certified trainer. For those of us that were around during the last event, Techpreneurs Ignite last year in Abuja, we met with him physically. So he will be coming on. Mr. Deji, are you ready for us?
Yeah, Tabitha, before Deji come up,
Okay.
I just want to show our viewers how this look like. The ChatGPT, already on it. I'm trying to log in, and you can see a lot of things that that is happening here. It asks you to log in. I log in just to make it practical. Just to follow what you get your email. If you have your email, you log in, continue. You put your password. Uh, uh, Let me go to my account, preferably. I will not ask me for password. Sign in. Now I'm into the chat GBT. Now let's see what the magic it does. Now let's ask as simple as something. I don't know whether they have it. Who won Nigeria election? I don't know. Let's see. He doesn't understand this. Therefore, I cannot predict the outcome of Nigerian elections. However, you can follow. You can see it's always very intuitive to give you. Tabitha, can you give me one information I can ask the GPT?
Okay, what okay. Mr. Ife's trying to say something.
How to design a self-driving car.
Wow, that's on wide. How to
Okay, after that,
design
who wants to ask any
a
question?
self-driving
ChatGPT.
car? Yeah, let's see. Good. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 3, rather. Now it's going to step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, 7, 8. Everything I need to do. First of all, to design a self-driving car, I need to first of all define the problem I want to do. Do I want my car to fly when it gets to water? Do I want my car to just move to the side when there's a galloping? Then I need to gather data, collect environmental, especially traffic pattern in Lagos, in Abuja, in Yola, in Lokoja, get all those information. Then I need to develop an algorithm, and that's why we're looking at the AI bootcamp. How do we use ready-made platform to build our solution? Then build the car. After building the car, you integrate it to the software and test it. Then one other thing that is telling us to do is to get the certification ready to approve it to be able to walk on our road. That is superb. Tabitha, you were saying something.
Okay, we have another person. That's pretty amazing. So at least with that information, I'm sure we can build a self-driving car, right?
Do you know I'm great now? I can give you any solution. What other solution do you want?
We have someone here. Let's ask her.
Okay, what you want?
And just question, any question.
Okay, so can a chat GPT can it know the number of cars in Abuja? Can
Okay.
Let's find out. Can ChatGPT know numbers of cars in Abuja?
Okay, number of cars in Abuja, Nigeria. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, my language model, I don't have the number of cars in Abuja, but he gave us something. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
He gave us something for 2019. We have 12.7 million registered vehicles in the country. These cars are trucks, buses, motorcycle number, and it can tell it's also pointing to us that we need to build a database. Let's try another country. Let's see whether we can say what is the number numbers of cars in South Africa. Let's be African. Let's see whether I can give us anything here. Let's not go to Europe or US. Can you see what I was saying? That he was able to get this because there is already data that surface on the South Africa radar. Now let's look at the US. So that shows that we still need to get more data in our database, especially from our public forum. In, let's say, one city, let's say London, UK. Let's see here. Now let's try Lagos. Apparently, we have the same issue with Abuja. Wow. Tabitha,
Sir?
can you see Lagos government has data?
Abuja, we need to do more. And then we're already having techies community.
Yeah, Lagos government
So we'll take
has
it up.
more data.
We'll
That
take it up.
is wild. So while we wait for Deji, I think we can, just as the CEO said, let's try whether the video is ready. It's almost ready, 98%. Is there any other person that want to add or want us to add the GPT?
Okay, is there
The video is almost ready.
from anyone?
Any other thing you want to know?
I'd ask Christians now.
So let's become.
You know, Mr. Shay, recently, I did something using the chat GPT. So I started my master's on biotechnology, and they said we should send topics on the topics for my project. And I just went to ChatGPT to just go and okay, give me topic for this particular project because I'm actually trying to work on become a biotech analyst. And then I needed to see how I can bring in like AI and everything. I get a lot of topics which I'm already working on them. One of maybe the best three I can just send to the school. So I think even the project too is ChatGPT that will help me do it. So like that's making life very easy. Like that's making life very easy. Like so we're just bringing out all this so that you get to understand like what you can do with it. David here wants to say.
I just want to contribute a bit as regards Chat GPT. So there's this my friend in Europe. So I was so excited that Chat GPT is going to help in writing projects and all of that. Yes, it's going to help you, but there's also another Chat GPT API that counters it, that shows you if that particular text is written by a machine. Yes. So, and for Europe, I think some parts of Europe, they are using GPT-0. They're using GPT-0. So it will detect your text to see if it is written by an artificial intelligent machine. And then, so if you do that in a school, you're going to fail. But you can, maybe around Nigeria, it can still work. I mean, because we are still growing. We are still growing in terms of technology and development. So it can help you. But you can use ChatGPT to do a lot, like Ephraim and Mr. Deji, Mr. Shea, and others have demonstrated for us. What I use it for is to get clarity sometimes, to kind of get an idea of what it is, So that makes my thinking very fast. okay, so this is what it's about. So I can be able to recreate my own, similar to what I have seen ChatGPT do. So recently I tried creating a solution. So I wanted to automate something, an audio streaming platform, that is Mixler. So I wanted a situation whereby when our YouTube channel goes live, it will send the feed to Mixler API, and then it will convert that YouTube video feed to audio and stream it on Mixler without me touching it. So I decided to, and let me see if ChatGPT. So, there is noise coming from somewhere. I don't know from who. Online. So I tried something. So I wanted the solution to be written in Python. So I put all my instructions and it gave me. Then I realized that it's not complete. So I went online, made research. So there's this function of, it's like having a conversation. So there's this function of telling it to continue. So you say, okay, ChatGPT, writing a presentation on global AI, or the usefulness of AI to Africans. And then it writes maybe like two paragraphs, and you look at it and you see that, oh, it's not enough, there's something missing. Then you can type continue, and then it gives you further explanation. It gives you further solution. So that was what I did. So when I did that, it gave me some other part of the Python code that was missing from the initial Python code that it gave me. Although it's not working yet, but most of the code patches that it gave me are correct. I just need to connect the Mixler API. I've not gotten how to do that yet, but I'm researching how to do that. But it gave me some part of the solution, and I'm working on it. So that's just the contribution I wanted to make. Thank you.
Which one?
Yeah, that's really amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so at least a lot of people are now having like, okay, ideas. I know a lot of people from today will go and start using ChatGPT. A lot of people from today. Why am I saying a lot? Everybody should. Everybody should, because like the example are just like plenty. Even Mr. Shea, last 2 weeks we're trying to create an app using Power Apps, and it was a restaurant. So we're looking at, okay, unit cost, so that whenever anyone order from the app, when you now order from the app, then times the amount. So when you're now ordering, for instance, maybe you're getting a drinks, maybe soft drinks, which is 20, 200 naira per one, and then you want to get 5. So immediately give it total cost. So at the point where we're doing it, we got stuck. And we said, okay, let's leave it. The next day we'll continue. The next day when we came, one of my staff came and was like, he has done it. I said, how did you do it? Like, now we forgot to check ChatGPT. And it was just one line code we were missing. So there's just so much it can do. Mr. Shea, are you ready for our video? Mr. Deji is coming.
Yes, we are ready.
Okay. Sure.
So we're playing the video now. Please just confirm whether you can hear yourself.
Okay, sir. Yeah, this is better.
These models, right? You've got text to speech. You've got, rather, I should say, text to image with DALL-E. You've got coding. You've got language.
Your ChatGPT has completely changed the conversation about AI. I think those of us who have been on the inside of AI definitely have kind of thought about it as like, of course, it's changing the world and we see it every day. But I think ChatGPT made it real for millions of people by showing them what it can do and how powerful it is, and their imaginations are now freed.
How can this be really useful towards someone who may have, say, limited mobility? One of my colleagues, Christina, her arms are paralyzed and she types with her toes. And watching her use this product is really cool because she said, oh, I now just have to type one sentence rather than typing lots of sentences to plan a trip, for example.
You know, how do we set the right mental model for a technology like this? You know, it's super impressive. It can create, it can cite information, and so we found that people tend to over-trust or over-rely the kind of information it generates. And so a lot of what our team did was like, how do you set the right mental model for users? Reminding them, hey, you know, this is from the internet, just as reliable as the internet. Some things are factual, some things are not.
So hi everyone, welcome to the Global AI Bootcamp 2023. We welcome you as one of the attendees of our yearly global event with more than 70 locations around the world. And Sammy, do you know that this is already the 5th event in a row?
5 already?
Yes.
Okay.
It's our 5th anniversary.
Wow, it's crazy. Time really flies.
Yeah, we started in 2018 together with the global XR community. And then in 2019, it really exploded with lots of locations around the globe.
Exactly.
Then we had a couple of years which were virtual and some were hybrid. And now we're back with our 5th anniversary, a big event with lots of locations around the world.
It's really a nice history already, but I think there's a lot of people also that we need to thank. And actually those people are right now together with you in the room, and that's the local organizers. They've been working hard to find a venue, to find speakers, to find sponsors, or maybe even catering for some food. So please, thank you to all the local organizers. Give them a random applause for all the work that they've been doing. I think they really earn it because of doing all that kind of work.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but you know, there's also some other people who've been doing a lot of work over the last 5 years. And one person specifically, well, it's sad that you cannot see him, but we can see him. So give me a second. Let me switch on my phone and my camera. Here, do you see this guy here? He's one of the founding fathers of the global AI community and has been working for us for over 5 years, of course, doing everything. And now somehow he found a new passion in producing videos like this. So should we go inside?
Let's go inside.
Okay, let's go.
Come on inside. So hi John, welcome to the Global AI Bootcamp keynote.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
Yes, and thank you for being here with me.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Before we start, can you tell us who you are and what you do at Microsoft?
Sure. I'm John Montgomery, and I am the Corporate Vice President of Product in charge of Azure AI, which includes the Azure Cognitive Services, Azure OpenAI Service, Azure Machine Learning, and our AI frameworks.
So if we look at the past year, what is your most memorable moment in terms of AI advancements?
The last year has been amazing. I tend to think about the world in terms of customer impact, more so than like research impact or product advances. And in the last year, I would say we've seen several interesting customer things happen. One of the biggest, I could pick, So there are little ones like the improvements we've seen in our cognitive, like neural voices. The quality is getting better, it's taking less training data, and that's enabled customers like Duolingo to add languages and to make the interactions kind of more personal. We've done a whole bunch inside of Azure Machine Learning to make it scale better, to make training better, and that's impacted a bunch of customers ranging from big ones like Chevron to some of our newer customers. I think, though, if you look back at the last year, probably the single kind of biggest thing is around Azure OpenAI Service going general availability and ChatGPT. And those are probably the biggest things in the last year. ChatGPT has completely changed the conversation about AI. I think those of us who have been on the inside of AI definitely have kind of thought about it as like, of course, it's changing the world and we see it every day. But I think ChatGPT made it real for millions of people by showing them what it can do and how powerful it is. And their imaginations are now freed.
Yeah, that's totally true. I've used it for a couple of times now, and it is really, really big, and it's really game-changing.
I have to ask you then, what's the coolest thing you've done with ChatGPT?
Ooh, I have written some social media posts for my podcast.
Cool.
And it's very good at it, even better than I am.
It is very good at things like
Yeah,
that, yes.
yeah, totally true. You also lead a team at Microsoft, and that team focuses on building tools that are used by customers to create their own AI solutions. So can you share a customer story with us that really stood out for you?
Wow. There are, so when I think about my customers, I really kind of think about it in two cohorts. Microsoft is actually my largest customer. All of the AI services at Microsoft, they're using Azure Machine Learning for training or for inference, they're calling our cognitive services, they're using the Azure OpenAI service, and that includes things like GitHub Copilot, which is built on Azure OpenAI. It includes things like Dynamics 365. I think, though, from a first-party perspective, in the last few days, we've seen some really huge announcements. There was one that actually happened just today, where we're seeing the potential of ChatGPT-like things in Bing. We've also seen a massive announcement around Viva Sales and Teams Premium. We've been working for years with the Teams team to do transcription of meetings. And that transcription can drive things like closed captioning. But we haven't tapped the full potential until Teams Premium came out. And now you can get meeting summaries sent to you and action items assigned to you in Teams. And that's just showing the power of what AI can do. So from a first-party perspective, I think that one is super interesting. From a kind of a third-party customer perspective, I'm going to pick a totally different one. And I would focus more on the impact that some of our responsible AI tooling has had. The National Health Service in the UK has been completely inundated since the start of COVID. And they have been using the responsible AI tools inside Azure Machine Learning to help drive clarity and confidence in some of the machine learning models they've created to figure out where surgery patients should go for their hip and knee surgeries, whether they need to go to a major medical center or they can go to a smaller regional medical center based on a risk assessment profile. And so, obviously helping customers is huge. And that was just an amazing example of, basically doctors kind of working with their data science teams to help an immediate and local problem using the tools my team creates.
What do you think are the 3 topics that people should be educated in?
I'd call out 3 things. And it might be the same even if I were talking to like my sister who is an educator in Germany. The first thing is understanding responsible AI, understanding safety, understanding regulation, and understanding kind of the current truth and the current lay of the land around these large language models. There is a huge amount of fear, uncertainty, and doubt out there being spread by everything from competitors to folks who just don't know anything. The regulations are changing very, very quickly, and the technology is changing very quickly. I think understanding responsible AI, what it means, understanding what Microsoft is doing, is probably first and foremost on the list, and making it real, because it is going to change very quickly, but that knowledge is the foundation of kind of answering a bunch of questions about things. I think the second thing that I would point to as something everybody should know about is kind of large language models and this evolution we're seeing around what you can do when you can't actually take a model and retrain it from scratch. I think we've trained ourselves over the years that the only way you can do powerful things with a model is retrain it from scratch on your own data. These models, it doesn't work that way. I mean, these models take months to train on supercomputers, right? And I think now we're starting to give people fine-tuning APIs and more tools on top of it, understanding what you can do with these, understanding prompt engineering, and what's coming after that. That is kind of a major thing for everybody. The third one is actually more a kind of a longer lead pair of technologies. The first one of that is reinforcement learning, and then the second one is privacy-preserving training or federated learning. And these may be like the nuclear fusion of artificial intelligence. We've been talking about them for years, and we're starting to see point applications. I think the ChatGPT's use of RLHF is starting to cause a lot of more interest in reinforcement learning. And certainly as we roll these models out more and more, dealing with the questions about how do you actually fine-tune a model without needing to take the data back to the source is something that we're going to have to think about more and more. So knowing about those two categories of technology is probably a useful background thread. It's not immediately practical for most developers or data scientists or IT admins, but knowing what they are and basically how they work is probably another good foundational thing for folks to understand.
Sounds like lots of good things to dive into for IT pros, developers, data scientists.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you so much, John, for being here with me.
It's been great to be here. Thank you.
Well, that was a very interesting conversation you had with John. He really showed us what the strategy Microsoft has for implementing AI in their products and also the future that they're looking into. But also he shared us 3 different topics that can help us to learn more about AI.
Yes, that was really valuable. And he also briefly mentioned OpenAI. And that's what you're going to focus on together with Bob, right?
Yeah, really looking forward to that conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob, so much for making time for a quick chat. Could you introduce yourself for the people who do not know
Sure.
you?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Bob Brainart. I'm within the Microsoft AI Platform Engineering Organization. And myself and my team have the fun of engaging with customers and partners all over the world to bring them onto Azure OpenAI service. Customers, partners, MVPs.
Can you explain to people what OpenAI exactly is?
Yeah, so OpenAI, it's the latest in the series of models that are produced by OpenAI. They're large language models, they're generative models, they're transformer models. And really what that means is instead of taking a smaller purpose-built model, something that does text analytics, something that does translation, it basically has multiple capabilities built into the service itself. So in the case of OpenAI, has fantastic language capabilities with the GPT-3 models. Also, one of the cousins of that is ChatGPT, which has really captured the hearts and the minds of everyone around the world. And there's also the ability to do text to image with the DALL-E model. And then last we have Codex, extremely important, really to democratize software development and providing people access to SQL databases that aren't SQL devs. So it just brings all of these different capabilities together through a single API. And it's super powerful because it enables people to take what they would have been using, like 6, 7, 8 pre-built task-specific models, and then use the OpenAI service to do a whole variety of tasks. We call this model as a platform. So it's really a platform to build applications on top of.
Okay. I can imagine with the services now open to the public, the information that is putting in by the public is also very interesting to make use to improve new models.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because like with our friends at OpenAI, yeah, when ChatGPT is learning, millions of people are using it, that feedback goes right into training the next instance of the model, and it's really powerful because it builds in real-time feedback. And like one of the common things we get with enterprise customers is they don't want their data to go into the model. I think I know where this was going. And so, we do have that enterprise promise in Azure that your data is your data. Yes, you can use your data to train the model, but in enterprises, company secrets and so forth are not going to go back into the model training. But so we have the best of both worlds. So we have OpenAI continually retraining, and then our enterprise customers with that sort of data security value that we provide.
Yeah, which is very important, of course. Well, it's quite interesting. Now, you've been talking about Azure OpenAI, but there's also just OpenAI. Mm-hmm. What exactly is the difference?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I always like to start off just by talking about what is the same. First of all, every OpenAI model that's released is trained on the Azure supercomputer. So think of OpenAI as an Azure ISV of sorts, very strategically important one, but nevertheless they're very similar to other partners we have, right? In terms of just sitting on that Azure infrastructure. And then, same with, of course, Azure OpenAI Service, a completely separate instance of Azure infrastructure, but still, both sit on that. So that's similarity number one. Similarity number two, it's the same models. Yeah, these models are stochastic. You will get different responses if you ask the same question multiple times. You'll get that with OpenAI as well as across OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. But the models are exactly the same. They're the same code base, the same instances of the models. When you get Text DaVinci 003 on OpenAI, you can take that work, reproduce it, again, within the stochastic characteristics of the models and get the same type of responses. So we see customers working on OpenAI and then directly transferring that knowledge over to Azure OpenAI Service very seamlessly. We have one customer, Trellant, a startup, who moved from OpenAI to Azure OpenAI. He said it was literally 3 lines of code, to change his app to be able to use Azure OpenAI. A couple of things on the differences. Customer preference is super important to us. We love when customers work on OpenAI, but what we see with the largest enterprise customers and also ISVs that work with enterprise is there's certain security features and enterprise features that companies need to take something into production. There's also regulatory compliance. So if you look at from a security perspective, we support the Azure networking like ExpressRoute and private links. We support we have this data security policy that your data is your data. We also, the service is HIPAA compliant, for like healthcare companies, SOC 2 compliant. So regulatory compliance is also super important. One of the other major differences is geodiversity. We do offer Azure OpenAI service in multiple Azure regions around the world.
So what you're actually doing, you have the OpenAI services, you're building a nice layer on top of it with extra security, making sure it's in different regions, actually bring it to an enterprise level. So you've talked now how enterprise organizations are already making use of these services. Can you give us any example, a use case?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we see with use cases, the language use cases are grouped into 4 sort of buckets or broad categories. The first we call reason over structured and unstructured data. And in the beginning we were kind of looking at all these different model capabilities, and they're basically classification, sentiment, type of classification, search, and then entity extraction. And we say, what are people actually doing? Well, they're getting reasoning, they're gathering reasoning over data, over structured and unstructured data. And then that usually feeds into other model capabilities where a customer will take a call center record, do those types of things, and then use the summarization capability. So summarization is the other use case category, very common with call center transcripts, large technical documents, etc. The third one is conversational AI, and I don't need to explain that. You can look at ChatGPT and see the amazing capabilities that we have there. And so the other one is writing assistants. Companies that are using OpenAI to basically write blog posts. A lot of people in this audience will have children that are using it to write homework assignments. It is done out there. And then also we see it a lot in marketing campaigns for developing taglines for email headers, etc. So there are a few case studies that were out there. I mentioned Trellant. CarMax is a customer that's been using it to summarize thousands of automobile reviews down to a very coherent description. Saving thousands of hours of collating all that information together. We have Farmlands out of New Zealand who's actually using it to look at the sentiment of their agriculture retail customers. Really interesting use case. I mentioned Trellant. What they're doing is they're using a codex model to generate doc strings for code documentation for legacy code. So there's a lot of really interesting customer engagements out there, and more to come.
Yeah, I can imagine that. It's interesting times that are coming with all the new things that are coming up. Well, linked to that, how do you think the future of OpenAI services is going to be?
Yeah, the future happens every minute. I think we heard some announcements today, about incorporating OpenAI into Bing Search. So yeah, it's a very, very fast-moving space, but there's really a few key areas. One is responsible AI, and we'll cover that in a bit. The second is if you take a look at these models, right? You've got text-to-speech, you've got, text-to-image with DALL-E, you've got coding, you've got language. Multimodal is something that we're looking at moving forward, where these multiple model capabilities are all converging onto sort of a single model, single API. So that's something to look forward to. Also, being used, for more forward-looking, like external users, social media type things. Right now, responsible AI is a bit of a concern, just because these models are generative, and we have to take the responsible AI and really test it out over time. But I think we're going to start seeing it much more wide used in that. As well as in mission critical applications. I mean, Azure OpenAI service is built for those types of enterprise deployments. But really the big things are multimodal and also some of the advancements in responsible AI.
Okay. Well, you already answered my last question a bit concerning responsible AI. I think that's something we really need to look more into because it's so important. But Bob, I can only thank you for this very nice conversation. And I'm really looking forward to what OpenAI is really going to bring in the next coming levels, next weeks, months, and for Microsoft and also for the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
So Bob really told us a lot of exciting stuff about OpenAI. This is really going to be a huge game changer in the tech industry.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to everything that this is going to bring in the upcoming years.
For sure, I'm also looking forward to that. But I think our next guest will really giving us an example how OpenAI has been embedded in a business application. Let's have a view also on that.
Let's do that.
Hey Sharon, thank you for joining me today. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, I've heard you've been working also on the release of Bing OpenAI, the combination of it. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, it's been super exciting. We've seen the buzz, all this week. And our team really came in towards the end of last year, really thinking about the responsible AI and, how do we think about the societal implications of releasing something like this following the ChatGPT launch and the excitement over it.
Yeah. Well, since you are focused on the ethical part of AI, what were the things you really had to look into in releasing a product like that?
Yeah, I think the initial version was really about understanding, how do we set the right mental model for a technology like this? It's super impressive. It can create, it can cite information. And so we found that people tend to over-trust or over-rely the kind of information it generates. And so a lot of what our team did was like, how do you set the right mental model for users? Reminding them, hey, this is from the internet, just as reliable as the internet. Some things are factual, some things are not. So that was our initial step, was really around education, around user transparency. But there's so many more places that we want to go to in terms of what is the future human AI interaction model that we really want to create with a technology like this.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Now, the tool the model that is used behind the service is ChatGPT, where it consumes a lot of data to get trained.
Right.
How does it get curated that the data is, for example, unbiased?
Yeah, so there's like a slight note where it's actually not using the ChatGPT 3 model directly. It's actually using something called Prometheus, which was a joint model that was created from Bing and OpenAI to really tailor ChatGPT but for a search scenario. So for example, limitations of ChatGPT is that it doesn't have current events, right? If you use it on OpenAI, it's limited to I think the end of 2021. Prometheus now allows actual grounding that against Bing's existing search index. So you have a grounding of that information. You're able to actually have citations. It's able to point to the sources it's referencing. And so those are the new things in terms of bias. But like I said, this is based off of the internet. And so there's a lot of biases inherently woven into the internet. And so it's inescapable for it to be able to replicate some of those biases. I would say on the platform level, there's been a lot of work in terms of safety, like content moderation, how do we think about safe inputs and outputs? If users tend to ask, Bing, hey, I got this, prescription for my medication, does that look right? It will, tell you, hey, you should consult the medical professional. And so we had to think about those kind of safety scenarios as well. Yeah.
Now, I have a question also concerning what a company needs to do to get an ethical AI strategy. But I think it's a good idea to also get a little bit more clear overview of what ethical AI exactly is.
Yeah, it's a loaded question.
Yeah.
I think, there's so many aspects to that. I would say with ethical AI, it's not about right or wrong, right? Because, your ethics are different from my ethics. And, how do we really determine what that is? Especially for a company like Microsoft, we're an international company with international consumers. And so when we say ethics, we're really about how do we be really intentional about what we build? When we build something, how do you think about not just its initial impact, but the second order implications? And so again, it's that word implications. How do you think about the deeper consequences? How do we think about not just your direct customers, but like who is affected by your product, even though they don't necessarily use it? For example, back to the ChatGPT scenario, if people are using it for medical professionals, even if doctors aren't directly using it, it might affect them because their patients might not be going to them and say, hey, I got this prescription or this diagnosis, what do you think? And so we think about those different layers. And so I think for a lot of companies for ethical AI strategy, it's investing in that longer tail consequences because those longer term things will affect you, and just being more intentional about thinking about the consequences and implications of what you're building.
Okay. What advice would you be able to give organizations that want to implement AI in their solutions?
I honestly I do think it's really about, the innovation part is what's captivating everybody, but really thinking about not just the application, but the implications. And when you talked about your earlier question of how do you build an ethical AI strategy, I think at the core of the culture and the leadership, you need to believe that's important. It's not always easy because ethical AI, you might not see the bottom line, impact right away. But on the long scale, at Microsoft at least, we take it so seriously because, we're not just a company here for the next 10 years. We hope to be around for a much longer time. And to do that, we have to be building towards a better society for that to exist.
Okay, thank you very much for these nice answers on my questions. I'm looking forward to see more of you and your team also read articles or see videos about it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sammy.
Well, that was a really interesting conversation I just had. I'm really looking forward to where AI is going to be embedded in even more business applications.
Yeah, me too. And there is also another field where AI can have a huge impact.
Okay.
That's accessibility.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we're now at the Inclusive Tech Lab where we're going to have a chat with Donna Sarkar about this. So let's go inside. So hi Donna, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
Awesome, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, really great to be here and have a conversation together with you. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So we start with the first one.
Let's go.
Can you tell me who you are and what you do at Microsoft?
Absolutely. I'm Donna Sarkar. I lead the accessibility tech program for the company, which means I look after the, let's say, many thousands of products we ship externally, all of our websites, and all of our internal tools.
So we talked a lot about AI and how it can help people in their daily lives and in their work. Can you explain how AI can also help people with an accessibility need?
Definitely. So I absolutely love both of these topics and the intersection, right? Because AI is magical and having quite a moment right now. And accessibility, I think, is one of the most fascinating tech areas because you're legitly innovating with a real purpose. You're not making like Uber for fresh fruit, right? It's got like a real reason to exist, all this cool innovation. And when you look at the intersection of the two, you're looking at ways where you're legitly solving the equity divide. And there's three things that I've seen Microsoft do in the last few years that I think it's really important to call out. The first one that we talk about a lot are captions, right? These are Azure Cognitive Services, Azure Speech Services, derived captions, and they've been starting to make their way into every product. First was, of course, PowerPoint, which if you don't have captions on in PowerPoint by default, do it. Second one is Teams, and the third one and most recent, and I think the coolest, is Windows 11, because they're available offline as well.
Yes, it's really built into the product. Uses the mic and then...
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds really great.
Yeah, so captions is the first one. The second one is totally nerdy, but I love GitHub Copilot. I absolutely love it. I'm a developer, so having this machine generate the first draft of code for me that I can then refine is pretty cool. The part of GitHub Copilot that I don't think people know about is GitHub Copilot Labs. This is the experimental mode of Copilot where they test all these interesting features and functionality before they go live to everybody. They're part of their nightly insider builds. And there's a brand new one called Explain, where you can highlight a chunk of code and it'll explain in natural language what it does. I use it when I'm getting familiar with a new code base or some product that I've never worked with before. The third thing that I really liked is for neurodivergent folks, right? I'm a neurodivergent person. I have dyslexia. And one of the things I have really appreciated is this thing called Teams Meeting Recap.
Mhm.
So say you and I have a Teams meeting and we record it, and then I'm thinking, what did I agree to do in the meeting, right? Because you assigned me some homework and I promptly forgot because neurodivergent urge to forget. But the recap meeting notes actually just call out and say action items assigned to Donna, action items assigned to Hank, assigned to everyone. And what a good way to, first of all, volunteer people to do work, but also a really, really solid way to make sure that whether you were in the meeting or not in the meeting, you didn't miss anything really obvious.
Mhm.
So
It really sounds amazing.
yeah, so those were the three that I've really loved recently.
Wow. Which project really stood out for you?
So, of course, we're looking at recency bias, right? We just had the Bing Edge launch on Tuesday. That was a big deal. That was fun, though. My team got to work closely with the product teams to make sure that not only are these new generative AI experiences accessible from a screen reader or any other disability type point of view, like, yes, I can use them, but they're useful and usable, right? So how can this be really useful towards someone who may have, say, limited mobility? One of my colleagues, Christina, her arms are paralyzed and she types with her toes. And watching her use this product is really cool because she said, oh, I now just have to type one sentence rather than typing lots of sentences to plan a trip, for example, right? We're trying to plan a conference, an offsite, and she's able to do research so quickly now compared to before. And the same with me, because I will get distracted on anything. So being able to plan just a wheelchair-friendly trip to Europe with a whole bunch of takeaways, and in line, it's like, look up airfare, look up hotels. It's just a pretty magical experience.
Yeah.
So, and I think we're only getting started at what this thing can do. And that's the Bing part. The Edge part that I found very, very fascinating was this feature called Summarize, where using, I think it's only in the Bing Edge, the Edge dev build right now, which is you copy in a whole chunk of text and it'll pull out a summary of it. And we just did that with this document that we were supposed to read. It was a very long document. It was 12 pages. And I thought maybe we can just try the summary feature. And I did the summary feature and I asked my legal friend who's really good at reading documents, is it accurate? And they said, actually, it's pretty accurate. So you can imagine that's kind of a game changer for people because it gives you this like easy button shortcut key toward not having to read a large quantity of words if you are a dyslexic person like me.
Yeah, it's really a major step forward for including everyone here.
That's right. And just making life easier for all kinds of people.
Yeah. It is really difficult without including everyone to build these types of products. Yeah,
right.
Nearly impossible.
Oh, and I'll give you one plug before I leave you. We have our Microsoft Ability Summit coming up on March 8th, which is our big accessibility conference. There will be a lot of surprises, a lot of new things announced, a lot of really cool tech demos. And there's some pretty amazing A-list guests attending this conference. It's one of my favorite things of the year, so I highly recommend everyone check it out. Just look up Ability Summit Microsoft 2023. I'll see you there.
Okay. Thank you so much
Thank
for this
you.
conversation.
So Tabitha, I think we have
Hi, Mr. Shea, I'm here.
so Deji, are you ready for your presentation? Okay. Deji, if you are ready for your presentation, you can just come up so that we can go into the workshop.
Yeah.
Let's go. Hello, Shay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, can anybody? Yeah, that's a good one. So we've been talking about AI, we'll be talking about ML, we'll be talking about things that will make life very, very easy for all of us. So let me quickly share my screen. I hope I can do that from here. Share my entire screen. Okay. I hope my screen is visible. Can you help me confirm? Hello? Is my screen visible? Ah, I can't hear you. Let me. Am I still on?
Um, you are not visible.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. But it seems Dej is having a network issue, yeah. I think Tabitha, I think Dej is having a network issue. It's offline. Can we have Collins so we can just start the workshop? Collins.
He's come here.
All right. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. My name is Collins Ajonye, and I'm a digital marketer and a brand specialist. How many of you are a bit overwhelmed with all that is happening here today? Show of hands, right? The truth is, you can actually never keep up with technology. You can actually never keep up. The point of this entire workshop and exercise is just to show you and expose you to the possibilities of AI. So we don't intend that you learn everything all at once. No, we just want to open your mind, and perhaps by opening your mind to the possibilities of AI, we can actually begin to create solutions that are tailored for African problems. All right. So very shortly, we're going to be going through an interactive session where we'll be calling upon Osinachi to walk us through a workshop. So the idea is, how do we use AI practically? I like to see AI as an assistant, right? Something that I could pass on certain tasks to. I don't have to think, I don't have to bother myself about certain tasks. You know, I know some of you are scared AI is going to take your jobs. AI is actually here to make your jobs easier for you, and I just want us to be curious, because remember, when we were children, we learned through what? Curiosity. When you see smart kids, they are the ones that ask the most questions, right? So I just want you to picture it. I'm sure we have a mixed audience here. We have developers, we have digital marketers, we have content creators. I want you to picture how AI could actually help make your job easier and more seamless. So I use ChatGPT very, very actively because I build marketing campaigns for a number of companies, and I use it so much, like to create marketing campaigns, for my client. However, I don't give it the entire job. I use ChatGPT. I brainstorm, if I'll put it that way, with ChatGPT to develop, marketing campaigns and all of that. So the point of this entire event is to show to you what is actually possible and how we can begin to think about solutions or the common problems we have and how AI can help us solve them. So
this exercise is going to, the workshop we're going to be taking shortly, we're going to have two different scenarios. We're going to have two different scenarios. One is going to be theoretical, the other is going to be practical. Thankfully, we've set up an Abuja Microsoft community, which I hope each and every person here is going to join, so that if you're unable to catch up with the pace, we will be sharing the videos, we'll be sharing some of the exercises in the group so that you could actually learn at your pace after the event. So don't be under any pressure. We're here to help. We're here to help. So we're going to have two workshops, like I said. The first one is basically looking at forms and how we interact with forms at this time and age. So when was the last time you filled a physical form, for instance? Last time, has anyone, I know most of us are very conversant with filling forms on probably our phones or our laptops. When was the last time you filled a physical, has anyone filled a physical form like recently? Just show of hands. Wow, interesting. Okay, so what we're trying to do is perhaps we're trying to cut down the overhead for companies that have physical forms and want to take those physical forms to make it digitized, basically, right? That way, you're able to analyze the data from the forms. That way, you're able to make future projections based on the data you've collected from the forms. So a scenario could be when you go to the hospital to probably register for the first time, you need to have a hospital card, right? So you usually would fill out your details, your bio data, and all of that in the form, right? So what AI can do for us now is, rather than having another person that takes that information you filled out on the form, rather than paying another person, for instance, to impute that data manually, perhaps we could actually upload that form to a web application, right? After filling it up and taking a picture of it, perhaps we could actually upload it to the hospital's web application, and the AI is able to recognize the data. So for instance, if I put my name as Collins Ajonie, for instance, the AI is able to recognize those areas where I entered my data and collate all the information and send that to perhaps the doctors or the consultants in the hospital. I think that is pretty interesting, right? Most of us might not know, but even with our phones, right? If you have an iPhone, and I think some Samsung phones, and you just, for instance, if I take a picture of this Abuja Microsoft community, you would see that, let me just do something real quick. So I'm taking a picture of this Abuja Microsoft community, and as soon as I do that, the AI is actually able to detect the text. So for instance, if I just quickly don't want to type this out, maybe I want to use it somewhere else, I could just scan it. It detects the text from the image, and you can actually copy that and use it elsewhere. So we're already using AI on our mobile phones. So quickly, the problem statement for the first workshop is, this solution aims to address data issues that creep in with paper-based systems, plus the overhead associated with entering new patient information into the hospital system, right? So that is the problem. That is the problem. The main problem is the overhead that is associated. So after people fill out their information, you still need to pay a set of people that probably type to actually transfer that data to a database, right? So we're trying to, you see, that is the problem that we're trying to solve. And we will do that using what we call the form recognizer. So what is a form recognizer? A form recognizer is a solution built on the Azure platform. It's a cognitive service that uses machine learning to extract text and table data from documents. That is a form recognizer. And you're going to be seeing that shortly. So you can train different models. You can train different models to extract data, specific data from your form, using the pre-built models to extract common fields from receipts and invoices, for instance. So the solution overview is, you have a patient that completes the registration form, and then the patient uploads the form to the web application, right? And then after that, the web application form recognizer, the web app uses the form recognizer to extract the data from the form, right? The app then returns the data to the patient. Can anyone tell me why it's very important for the form to return the data to the patient? Exactly. So it's very important so that you can actually confirm, because some of us have very interesting handwriting, So the AI may not be able to detect, okay, your eye, or they are not able to detect what you actually wrote. So it's very important that he sends it back to you to confirm. So after he does that, the patient submits the verified data, and the surgery admin verifies the registration and adds the data, adds it to the doctor's surgery system. So it makes it so easy for them, right? So the second scenario, which is common to, which is very common to us, is, for instance, the Lagos State Government Internal Revenue Service. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to be calling upon Osinachi to demonstrate that to us. And then perhaps after his demonstration, we would like to try it out ourselves, sign up on Azure to basically build an AI that can actually extract data from handwritten forms. So we're going to be doing that exercise. Osinachi, are you ready?
Yes, yes, I am ready. Hello
All
once
right.
again, everyone. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, sure. Loud and clear.
Right. So I am called me up to do Collins called me up to do a demo of the Lagos State tax form recognition project. So from what he has said so far, the idea we are trying to put out there is being able to extract information from physical forms or documents. Like, as I mean, you walk into an office and you fill out a form, you want to be able to extract that data. And here we're going to be demoing it with Lagos State tax forms. So I'm just going to share my screen. Please let me know when you can see my screen. I think Mr. Shei is meant to put my screen in the spotlight. Um, no, this is my face. Talking about my screen. It doesn't. Okay, yeah, that's it. So what I'm using today to demo is Azure Applied AI Form Recognizer Studio. It's basically an environment. It's basically an environment where you can run form recognizer projects. Everything we do here runs on Azure. So I think currently we have some Azure credits ready for you that is you participant of the workshop. So with this credit, you'll be able to access Azure, right? You'll be able to access Azure and deploy services. So and you're going to be deploying Form Recognizer. It's like a service on Azure, just like OpenAI is a service that runs. Sorry, ChatGPT is like a service that runs on Azure. Form Recognizer is also a service that runs on Azure, right? So I'm going to be, I'm just going to show you a simple demo before I show you how you can like create the project, and then Collins takes over and you do the demo, you do the project hands on where you are sitting. So so current um so here with me I have the tax form, the example tax form. This is how it looks like, right? So you can see Lagos State Government Internal Revenue Service. So it's basically a form that collects the information of taxpayers, and also collects other details such as their salary and their expenses like their rents and their total income. So assuming we want to be able to have this data in both physical form, then when they submit the forms, we now run an automated flow that takes all these forms, takes a picture of them, takes a picture of the forms, and then extracts the name, the first name, the last name, the title, marital status, and maybe their salary, their rents, and their total income. So that's where we bring Form Recognizer in now. And Form Recognizer as an AI project works with data, right? So we'll give it data, we'll label the data, to tell it this is what this means, this is what this refers to. So that's what labeling is basically. So after labeling the data, we'll now train the model. So training the model is basically a way of telling it to recognize those labels. So now if we now bring somebody's form that we have not seen before, maybe somebody just submitted a new form, we'll be able to extract the data from those forms that match the labels that we gave it, right? So here by the left, you can see four things: surname, first name, middle name, title. So these are the labels I gave this form, right? And I labeled this I put these labels across 5 forms. Because machine learning projects require data, we need a minimum amount of data to be able to train these models. And in this case, Form Recognizer requires us to provide 5. Some projects require that you provide up to 10,000 data points. So we're usually using 5 because, okay, these Azure Applied AI services, they try as much as possible to reduce the amount of work you do so that you can deploy AI projects in the real world fast, in a very fast way. So we only require like 5 forms. And after labeling these 5 forms and training the forms, we'll be able to test them out. We'll be able to test them out. So let me just get a new form from my local environment. Let me go to my file explorer and get a form there.
One, are we following through so far? I know it's a bit tiny from a distance. In a nutshell, what he's trying to do is provide data. He's trying to provide data to the AI so that it's able to recognize certain fields of the form when there's a new entry, right? So you have to train the AI before you deploy it, basically. So he's trying to illustrate that. If you have any questions, you can always.
Okay. So I just supplied a new form from my file system. We've not seen this form before. We've not trained it before, right? So hopefully, when we click on analyze, form recognizer will be able to identify those four fields we labeled: the name, the surname, the first name, the middle name, and the title. So now we're running analysis. So you can see now that we've been able to extract the data from the form. So we have the surname, the first name, the middle name, and the title, and it gave the accuracy of the prediction, because this is artificial intelligence. Not everything is 100%, right? But if we're very close, like above 90%, then we know that we have done a good job. And you can see here the title is able to extract it as Mr., which is actually the data there, and it gave only a 4% accuracy, 4.7% accuracy. And it gave this accuracy because the writing there is actually very tiny. So it's not entirely sure, but it was able to still correctly infer what is there. So this what we just did now is we just did the process of labeling, training, and validating. Although we did not train, I've not done that yet, but I just showed you how we move from labeled data to a deployed model that can work in the real world and extract data. So now anybody that submits their form will be able to extract that data and have it in digital form that we can store maybe in a database, or we can print out in an Excel sheet. Whatever we want to do with the data, we'll be able to do it. I'm just going to show you something quick, adding a new label. So say we want to know the earn, how much each person earns from their forms, right? So we just come here and we label salary. I'm just going to add a new label, a new field called salary, and I'll do it across the 5 forms. So here, the salary is 25,000. We're going to add it. Here, here the salary is. Here the salary is that a million naira? Person must be rich. And here, the last form, the salary is 400,000. Okay. So now I've been able to label the salary across the 5 forms. And when I train, the model, maybe I call the model ID model with salary. And train the model. So the training is in progress. It's running. Sorry, 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. So the training might take a while to run, right? So while this training is running, I'm going to show you how you can create this from scratch. And when this completes, we're going to check if our model can now identify salary in new forms that come. So creating this from scratch, you would need your Azure account. I'm going to stop sharing, then share my whole screen so that you can see everything. Um, Let me share my entire screen. You help me put it in the spotlight, the screen. All right, nice. So this is my Azure portal, right? It's a place where I can come and deploy new models, deploy different things basically on Azure, right? And for this form recognizer, there are two resources you need. There are two things you need to put on Azure for it to work. You need a storage account where you store the forms that you are trying to train, and the forms that you're trying to train. And you also need the recognizer resource. It's like the thing that contains the AI model that recognizes data in your forms. So you need to deploy these on Azure, then use it from the studio. Or instead of going through Azure, you can do everything from the studio. The studio, like I showed you earlier, it talks to Azure. It's actually an Azure product, so they're almost the same thing. Just that this one is more concerned with form recognizer. So the first thing you want to do is to configure your resource, right? To create a new resource. So you can, if you come to the settings page, if you come to the settings page under resource, you can see create a new resource. So subscription is where is the it's like the Azure, it's like the subscription, your Azure subscription, the things that contains your Azure credits, because Azure works with credits, right? In the workshop, you if you participate in the workshop, you'll be given a subscription, so you don't have to worry about this. When you select your subscription, you select a resource group. So Azure has this thing called resource groups that allows you to group similar resources together. Remember when I talked about the storage accounts and the form recognizer resource? So they are all under resource groups. They're all under resource groups. So here is the resource group for the demo I showed you earlier, right? So it contains the storage accounts and the form recognizer resource. So we're going to be creating a new resource group. Let's call this um, AI Global AI Bootcamp Demo Day. Bootcamp resource group. Okay. Sorry. Supposed to click on create new. So resource name is the name of the form recognizer resource you're creating. So we can just call this Global AI Bootcamp Form Recognizer Resource. Location, I would recommend that if you're participating, you choose West Europe. Pricing tier, you can choose free. I think that should work. If free doesn't work, then you just have to choose standard. Okay. So I've already created a free account before, so you just have to choose standard. But in your case, it will work with free. So I've been able to create the Global AI Bootcamp Form Recognizer resource. And that's what we're going to be deploying the new form recognizer we are training here. So after creating the resource, I'll go back to the home page of the studio. Then I'll come under custom model. So custom model is what you're creating because we have our own forms, we have our own data that we're trying to train. But the form recognizer comes with its own models. So there are different models that you can recognize, from invoices to receipts to identity documents. So something like an international passport, you don't have to start training a new model for that. If you want to recognize an international passport as part of your business, you can just use this and it's going to be able to recognize the different fields in this form. So I'm going to go back and under custom models, I'm going to create a new project. So the project name, let's call this Lagos Tax Forms Project. Description: project for extracting tax forms data. So subscription, we're just going to select the subscription we selected before. Resource group, Global AI Bootcamp resource group. Form recognizer resource. Um, it's going to come up in a few minutes. One thing you can do is switch resource groups and it comes up. So this is the form recognizer resource we created earlier. Then you click on continue. Under subscription, you select the same subscription. So these are the different steps you need to create a form recognizer resource. So there's you enter the project details, you configure service resource, that's the place that contains the AI model. Then the training data source is where your training data lives. It's where your training data lives, right? So I'm just going to quickly show you something. So the training data is actually on GitHub. So these are the training forms and these are the validation forms. So if you've never seen GitHub, it's just like a platform for where developers interact, store their code, and collaborate on projects. So the training forms, there are like 5 forms there. They're all PDF documents. They're all PDF documents that you can actually view. Yes. So these are like the training data source, training data, the raw training data. But we need to put this training data somewhere that Azure can see it. And the only place we can put it is a storage account under a blob container, right? It's just like a database. Think of it like a database, but it's for files. You don't typically store a file in a database. You store it in something called a storage bucket. And Azure storage account is the thing that contains the storage bucket you can use for this project. So under resource group, we'll choose that same resource group we chose earlier. Storage accounts, we can create a new storage account. You have to make yours short, and because there are not a lot of storage account names, so I'm just going to call mine form record 000. So Collins is going to give each of you participating in the workshop numbers you can use. So you just if assuming your number is 23, you can just put 23 here. I'm going to choose 000 or yeah, or I can okay 000 is fine. So location, same location we chose earlier, West Europe. Pricing tier, the first one, standard, standard GRS. Blob container name, so we can call this training forms, and that's all you need to put. You don't need to the folder part or this. So when you're done, you click on create project and it creates the new project for you, and you can start labeling your data, then extracting information from new forms, right? So it's still creating. So just a little feedback. Am I going too fast? Are people following? What? How is it happening from your end?
Okay, so my audience, you said you're a bit fast. You could slow down your pace a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to slow down a bit. Although Collins is still there to guide you through the project, and it might look a little bit fast because this might be the first time you're seeing it, but with time you're going to get used to it.
Okay. Hi, Osinachi. Thank you so much. So I think the connection broke a bit when you were trying to get through to the Azure dashboard. So it all happened like magic. So we just saw you in the dashboard, and then everything is just happening. So if you could go back some steps to see how we can create the accounts, log in, and then go to our dashboard and then create all of those resources.
Okay. I'm just going to
Just to
explain
refresh.
that. So the dashboard creation, the account creation, they would guide you when you are when the workshop starts proper. This account, my dashboard is it's under the student ambassadors resource, right? But you each person participating will get $25. I think $25 credits that you can use and follow along, right? But the main thing, like I said earlier, the main thing is not the dashboard. You don't actually have to do anything on the dashboard. The main thing is the form recognizer studio, right? So when you have access to your Azure credits when you start the workshop proper, this is how it's going to look like. You'll be signed out. This is how it's going to look like for you. This is how it's going to look like for you before you have started anything yourself. Then you come here and you sign in. So as far as you are signed in into your Azure portal, this is also going to get authenticated. Or there might be an extra step, but they are both connected essentially, right? So when you do this, you'll be able to come to the settings page and create your form recognizer resource under the resource. Then also, when you're done creating the resource, then you can create a new project under custom models. I'm going to scroll down slowly now. It's going to be at the bottom of the page. Under custom models, you can then create a project, right? Then you go through those steps, right? But if you're not following right now, you still follow along on the workshop. When the workshop starts proper for you, it's going to be like it's going to be like the next step. So it might not be looking too strange anymore, right? But then when you create your then okay, let me explain the resources thing again. So on Azure, there are different things called resources, and they are all grouped together in what we call resource groups. Right? A resource is like the very basic component of something you deploy on Azure. Azure is a cloud compute, it's a cloud provider. It's a cloud provider platform. It means it gives you the ability to deploy services on the cloud. And when I say deploy services on the cloud, think of websites, databases, machine learning models. What else? What else do people deploy? Basically, those kind of things. You can deploy it on the cloud. The okay, what example? Something like Twitter now. Twitter.com is a website, right? And that website it uses databases to store people's tweets. So that website can be deployed on Azure so that everybody in the world can access it. Then the database that's where people's tweets are stored can also be deployed on Azure So people can, so now the Twitter website can now store people's tweets to the database. So these are resources, and these two resources are very similar, and we can store them together in resource groups. So that's the idea of resources and resource groups. So this form recognizer project we are working with is a resource. It's an Azure resource, right? And the storage account where we store our training data is also a resource. So both of them we can now store them in a resource group. So for the data that you're going to be training, the data is here it's going to be in a zip file for you, right? They will provide you a link where you can download it, but originally it's here on GitHub, right? You actually have to know what GitHub is. It's just a platform where you can store code and files. So these are the files that you now upload to the storage account you created or you create. And once you upload the training data, you'll be able to label it. And after labeling it, you'll be able to train the model. And when you train the model will now be available for you to run, for you to extract new data from it, right? With the validation forms. So the validation forms are just a way to test out your model, test whether it's working or not. So that's the basic idea. Did that clarify anything, or did I still go too fast?
Just go on.
All
Go
right.
on, please. Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to the project. So this is the new project I created today. So we've not done anything. So here they say we should upload documents for custom model. And they say we should please upload at least 5 documents for labeling and training custom model. Right. So these 5 documents are the documents. These 5 documents are the documents that we're going to label. And if we label it, our model will be able to recognize the fields under that label. Right. So before we upload them, we have to download them from GitHub. So I'm just going to go here and download as zip. I'm going to download as zip. So it's about 2.2 MB, and I'll check it on my local folder. So these are the documents. So there are the training forms and the validation forms. So they say we should upload 5 documents. So I'm going to upload the training forms. I'm going to upload the training forms. So I'll just drag and drop, which is the same thing you do. So when I drag and drop, these 5 documents will now be available. And under the Azure portal, in the resource group we created, remember, is Global AI Bootcamp RG. The resource group we created earlier. Then this is the storage account that we created. So you see that these things are now on Azure, but we created them from the Form Recognizer Studio, right? So under the storage account, there's this thing called container, and that's where the training forms container is what would have our training forms. So we basically just uploaded these 5 documents here, and now they have appeared here. Okay, okay, yes. Now the 5 of them are here. There's this Michael, Okoli, Snachi, Pogba, and Rachel. So these are the 5 documents. Then when we interact with these documents, there will be extra files that we created. So these files are the files that enable our training to work, right? Let me refresh. So you see now extra files are appearing. but you don't actually have to concern yourself with this. All right, this is just showing you that the studio is communicating with Azure and is showing up in our portal. So now we can start the labeling. Like I showed you earlier, the four labels we had, we can start the labeling now. So we can just use this region. So under this region, we're going to label regions that represent um, um, fields in our form. So we want to be able to recognize surname. Let me zoom in. We want to be able to recognize surname, first name, middle name, title, right? We want to be able to recognize these four things. So we'll have to mark out the regions that these four things represent. So I'm going to mark out this region and call it surname and set it as a field. Then I'll mark out another region, this other region, and call it first name. First underscore name, call it a field. Then mark out this region. I'm going to zoom in so that I'll have better accuracy. Mark out this region and call it middle name field. Then mark out this region and call it title, and also put it as a field. So we have four labels now, and we have to label it across the 5 documents. So we have labeled the first one, we have 4 more to go. So we just have to repeat this process 5 times. And when we do, whether we have 1,000, maybe we have 1,000 forms now, it's going to be able to recognize these 4 fields across those 1,000 forms. Across those 1,000 forms, we're able to recognize these 4 fields. So you see how AI enables automation. We label 5, and we don't have to ever label again. So that's the whole idea of machine learning. We show the machine what it's supposed to do, then it learns, and it's now be able to do it on its own going forward. I'm going to label the second form now. So just those 4 fields for now. So this is going to be surname. This is going to be title. This is going to be first name. And the last one, middle name. So we do the same for the third form. Surname, title, first name, and middle name. The fourth form, surname, first name, middle name, and title. And for the final form, you just need to label those 4 fields. Surname, first name, middle name, and title. So after labeling the fields we want across the 5 forms, we'll click on train. The model, we can call it first training. And the build mode will select neural. So you don't have to worry yourself about this. Just give it a model name and select new law and click on train. So it's going to might take a while to train, right? Might take a while to train. So when it trains, we'll be able to see how we can recognize those 4 fields in when we bring new forms. Are there any questions so far?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I think we're following through.
All right, all right. So, you remember what we did at the first time I started explaining? We added a new label to that previous project I showed you, because this one we just did is a totally new project, or it's a new project, right? We added a this thing. We added, what did we add? We added salary. We added the salary field. So let's see whether that model has finished training. So which one did I use? I think this is the one I used. Okay, yeah, this is the one we added salary. Yeah, so the model has succeeded. So now we'll be able to select that model and test it out. So if we bring one of our validation forms, let's select the second one this time and drag and drop it and click on analyze. The hope is that we'll be able to see the names, the title, and the salary.
All right. So while we're waiting for him to come back up, we're going to be sharing each person that I registered. You're going to get an email with the link to join the community. So we're going to be doing a couple of things. We're going to give you a video walkthrough on how to, and I believe we would upload it on YouTube so that you're able to, at your own pace, try out all these things he just showed us. So that on your own pace, I mean, this would take you anything between 5 to 10 minutes to actually try out yourself. We would also provide the resources, right? The forms, you could actually use any form of your choosing, but if you still want to use the forms that he used, we would also provide that for you. The beauty of this is we're going to be picking the first 5 people that are able to watch that tutorial and create a model that analyzes their data. You're going to get a gift courtesy of the Abuja Microsoft community, right? So we're going to be having that. Is that exciting? Is that exciting? Are we sleeping? What's happening? I know it was too technical. I know. But we want you guys to actually try this out, because you learn 10 times better when you actually do. You've watched him walk through, and we're promising that we're going to have a very simple video walkthrough on how to sign up, on how to import your data, and then just basically create a model that is able to recognize various sections on your form. So the next activity, because we intend to close this by 1 o'clock, so that we can network a little bit and just have some fun, is we're going to be showing you how to claim your Azure credit, because you actually need the Azure credit to be able to do the walkthrough tutorial, right? So we're going to the Azure credits. How many do we have? So we have 20 Azure credits, and we're going to do a walkthrough to show you how to claim your Azure credits, because after today, it expires. After today, you may not be able to claim the credit, but you can use the credit after today. Does that make sense? So after today, you can't claim the credit, but you can use the credit if you claim it after today. Do you understand? Yes, so it's very important that you claim the credit today. All right. So Tabitha is going to give us a very simple
Collins,
walkthrough on how to
Collins,
yes, sir.
we have 25 Azure Pass, but 5 has been claimed online. So for those that's on the in-person people, where I think 3 have been claimed online, then the rest will be for those the speaker and those that are there. So we have 25 in general. So we have 20 that you want, as you said, 20 you want to give out, just to make it to account for it, because the video is online. Yeah.
Okay, sir. All
Yeah.
right. So Tabitha is going to be passing the forms. For those that are interested, let me just quickly pass it to David too.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So we have some forms here. So I was even thinking, so we could practically train this form instead of using Osinachi's form, because this will be more practical for us who are here. So we're going to pass these forms. Please just write down your details on the form. Then when we are doing the training, when we've registered and we're doing the training, the homework, we'll use this form instead. So we're going to snap it and make it on in a PDF format and share it with us so that we can train this and convert it just as Osinachi did for us. Okay.
Okay, yes. So now for claiming the credits. So what we actually wanted to do here before now, knowing that we have more than 25 people here, we actually wanted to just pair. And I think we should still do that, even though we are closing by 1. So after that, you meet your partner and then make sure that you people are able to do this without much. If you know how to do this thing, right? Within 5 minutes, you'll be able to train and then upload and analyze your data, and then it's already running. So I think we should try, because the aim of this now is for us to know how to at least do one thing before the end of today. So, Mimi, when you counted, how many people are here? So can we do 2-2? Like maybe. So let's okay 3-3. Okay, so can we do 3? Just take numbers 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, can we count from here? Oh yeah, sorry. So we'll just do 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1. Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we are all taking numbers so that we can pair, right? So we have 1, 2, 3. This will be like the first group here that will give them. Then we could have another one here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. So 1, Joshua. 3, Jediah. So hope people are looking at your partners. So you can. So Moses, yeah. 2. Did she pick a number? Okay. Then who is the third person to join Moses? You can join them, right? Okay. Yeah. Then the 3 people at this side, yes. Then we have 3 already here, right? That's how many now? Let's see. Already okay. Okay, so here we are having 1, 2, 3. We're having 1, 2, 3. You're not okay. You 1, 2, 3. The 3 of you, right? Then Tonya. Then maybe you, the 2 people behind you. can be your group here. Then okay, 1, 2, 3. And then Ijoma, you're part of the group. Are you doing it? She's on camera. So 1, 2, and who is joining? We need one more per person here. What? You try now. Just try. Yeah. Yeah. No, nothing. So I think I think we can share the pass now, Mr. Sheyi. So let me share the pass to them now so that
The pass is with you. It's just that you have to guide them how to claim it, and that guidance is very important so that they'll know the step to take.
Okay, so I think the facilitators are going to just walk you through how you could actually claim the credit. So Tabitha, Mr. David, and is Mr. Ephraim here? Okay. So we're going to just split ourselves and show you how to claim the credits. So you're going to, in your groups now, you're going to either assign one person because at the end of the day, like I said, we're going to be giving out 5 gifts. So I don't know how we're going to work around that since we're in pairs of 3. But we just want you guys to be able to work together to claim the credit. So we're going to be starting that right away.
So just as we said, we want to close because of the online viewer. We are behind schedule. We are supposed to have closed by 12. So we want to apologize for the delay. While the people in person will continue with the peering and the workshop, we like to also thank everyone that have joined us online, everyone that is in the facility running the workshop. We want to appreciate you on behalf of the group, on behalf of the Microsoft community in Africa and in Nigeria. And hopefully we'll check out from the WhatsApp group who is the winner, who is going to take the day, and we'll take the picture across the world. Tabitha, do you have anything? I just want to run the advert and we can close the studio by 1 p.m.
okay, so we're actually online, so we need to close online. But then after it, if you're still here, you want to finish your practical, it's still fine. But we are officially closing by 1 o'clock. So thank you so much for creating time to be part of it. I don't know. Hope it was interesting and hope you learned something new. And I want to let you know that this is not just the end of this community. We are going to be very active. We're going to be having a lot of activities here in Fulcrum. At least once or twice a month, we should be having activities. And we have a Telegram group where we'll give you people the link so that you can join. Then any other question, information, we take it up from there. And
Okay.
just like David said, other projects too, so we can do it together, and then next event we can present it so that Microsoft can see that okay, the Abuja community are actually doing a lot. So
Thank you, everyone. But before I leave the studio, I want to ask, can someone tell me one thing you are going to take home from? Can I pick anybody, Tabitha?
Okay, do you want to say?
Yeah.
Okay,
There is a lady, she's using glasses. She's at the left-hand side.
Okay.
The seat before her is empty. She just looked to the back now. Can you just tell me? Can she tell me one thing she's taking home with? Not that side, the left-hand side. But she can go ahead. Go ahead. Fine. That's your choice. Let her give us there. Then we'll go to the other side.
The other lady. Okay. At least 4 people should say something before we go.
Okay, just one major thing I'm excited about. I've been trying to create a YouTube content content. So I've just realized today I could use the chat GBT, so I'm excited.
Okay,
Amazing.
that's great.
Okay, let me see. Here. One thing you've learned. Online. Okay, let's go to the lady. Here.
Yes,
Um,
yes. I can see you.
yes, it's you.
Yes, she's the one.
Okay. Just say one thing. Just one thing. I'm coming back to you.
I'm actually having a difficult time learning JavaScript, so I think ChatGPT will definitely help me get better.
Everybody is in love with ChatGPT. Now let's see a male in the house. There's a brother in the front of you, in the middle, with glasses too. Why are we all using glasses? Yes.
Is it Mrs.
Any
Is
of
it
them, two of them are any of them. They are using glasses. Anyone you choose.
Well, I learned how I can use AI to make myself more productive in my work because I'm a designer. Yeah, so I learned how I can make it more make me more productive and not waste time trying to brainstorm and all
Okay.
that. Yeah.
So you see that AI can be more productive for you, and that's cool one. So there's a young IT guy in front. He's taking Coca-Cola now. He's hiding behind the sister.
Okay, I can see it.
The young IT guy.
Okay, it's here.
Today I learned that I can use chat GTP to make a software program for an app.
Wow, to use ChatGPT to make a software program. That's good. So I will leave you guys with the workshop and the facilitator to continue the workshop. That's why we're closing the studio now. But I'll be watching and monitoring the event from here and get feedback on who is going to be the leader, the 5 leader for the project. Thank you very much, and bye from here. And Abuja, bye guys.
Bye. Thank you.
See you very soon. Yeah.
These models, right? You've got text to speech. You've got rather, I should say, text to image with DALL-E. You've got coding. You've got language.
Your ChatGPT has completely changed the conversation about AI. I think those of us who have been on the inside of AI definitely have kind of thought about it as like, of course, it's changing the world and we see it every day. But I think ChatGPT made it real for millions of people by showing them what it can do and how powerful it is, and their imaginations are now freed.
How can this be really useful towards someone who may have, say, limited mobility? One of my colleagues, Christina, her arms are paralyzed and she types with her toes. And watching her use this product is really cool because she said, oh, I now just have to type one sentence rather than typing lots of sentences to plan a trip, for example.
You know, how do we set the right mental model for a technology like this? You know, it's super impressive. It can create, it can cite information. And so we found that people tend to over-trust or over-rely the kind of information it generates. And so a lot of what our team did was like, how do you set the right mental model for users? Reminding them, hey, you know, this is from the internet, just as reliable as the internet. Some things are factual, some things are not.
You have a learning goal, and we have just one job to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Azure Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearson VUE, and PSI. delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in respective industries. Azure Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define success as having the right resources to skill you up to help you meet your desired goals. Our job at Azure Academy is to empower you to be successful at every stage of the learning journey, from training to certification to establishing professional credibility. As a certified learning partner and authorized testing center, our facility has proven to be one of the best in the country as we get to reach the needs of all ages, young, middle-aged, and those in the advancing years, making learning simple and affordable. We care about your skill development, and without breaking the bank, we present you with great opportunities to showcase your competency and expertise in your area of specialty, aiding career advancement or personal goals tracking. Let's help you bridge that learning gap. All you have to do is take the next step to enroll in our courses today with prices that are easy on your wallets. Request access to our training calendar by emailing training@ashem.com, and you can also get the most of your learning investments by checking out our promotional offers here. offers.ashem.com/ms learning. You can call 0704-636-7151 or call 0704-576-9927. You can visit our head office at number 9 Ibikunle Street off Abad Macaulay Way, Yaba, Lagos State.
Welcome to the Pride of Symbols, a people driven by the passion for excellence and the courage to take on big challenges and see them through. With integrity of mind and systems, our words, structures, and processes are always dependable. We are proud of who we are, what we do, and what we stand for. Firm is our commitment to the vision to build a globally recognized distribution company and to become the key driver of trade revolution across Africa. We have been empowered to make products and services accessible, affordable, and usable across Africa by building an efficient distribution network, and to remain the market benchmark for dynamism, efficiency, and competitiveness. We are rulers. We provide order. With confidence, enthusiasm, and wit we speak. The vulnerable and voiceless we empower. This is me. This is TD Africa. We rule. We conquer. We are Simba.
ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé ọmọ ọba ní kò ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé kò ṣẹwọ́n.
Ó yá akéde mo fẹ́ délé bàbá tó bí lọ́mọ.
Ọmọ ọba ní kò
Bàbá
ṣẹrú.
àgbà ògbànigbà ní ojú ọ̀nà ó ṣe gbọ́n. Òsán-gìrì lágìrì ọ̀làgìrì làgà. Àkọ́kọ́ arẹ́rẹ́ o.